Dr. Littlejohn here. Today we're going to be going over fire hydrants. So first, this exercise is an awesome way to start to activate your hip stabilizers, those glutes, piriformis, these little muscles on the side of your hip that are responsible for keeping your pelvis level, as well as abducting, moving that leg out to the side. Not only does it do that, but it's also a really good way to challenge your hip mobility and flexibility at the same time. So first, we're going to be on our hands and knees, with our knees underneath our hips and our arms and hands underneath our shoulders. From here, I'm going to make sure that I'm not over-rounding my back and I'm not over-arching, but I'm right in the middle. I have a nice neutral pelvis, and I'm going to squeeze my core. This is really key to make sure that I stabilize my pelvis in this movement. We do not want our pelvis to move, because then we're going to start compensating, which we'll go over in a minute. But from here, we're going to think that we're squeezing our core, pushing through the floor, and we're going to lift this leg up, keeping our knee at about 90 degrees, and then back down. And this is all the movement is. We're activating those glutes, those little hip stabilizer muscles on the side that are so important for so much that we do. Now, one really common compensation that we already touched on is the reason why we don't want that pelvis to move is because it's really easy to say, well, yeah, like I might stop here, but I can get all the way over here, but just by doing the same motion. But what's happening is you can see my hips open up and start to rotate over. That's no longer purely just moving from these glutes. That's what we're looking for. So even though I can get all the way up to 90 degrees, I want to make sure that I'm performing the exercise correctly. That's what's more important, not necessarily saying, oh yeah, I can get this range of motion. It's making sure that you activate the right muscles and perform the exercise correctly to get the most out of it. If you can do this exercise without having your pelvis move and get it all the way, I'm not even going to try because I know I can't do it, and get that leg all the way up to 90 degrees, that's fantastic. Your hip mobility is much better than mine. But for myself and possibly many others, I just shouldn't be pushing that range of motion. I just don't currently have it. That's something I need to improve on. So I'm only coming out to that end part right before I start to rotate my hips to go any further. And then you can do the same thing on the other side, 8 to 10 reps. Again, a great exercise to add in to get those glutes to fire and teach your body what it feels like to use those muscles.